Welcome back, trainers. So in this video, we're going to be talking about shiny Pokemon. Which ones are going to be the rarest to have in your collection? We're going to be talking about that and going over which ones you possibly want to hold on to and not trade. Or even the ones that you should be trading off to have for possible trade value in the future for other people for shinies that you want specifically. And if you keep getting the same shiny over and over again, we're going to be discussing why that possibly may be occurring and why some other ones just keep avoiding you and you cannot find one to save your life no matter how hard you do grind. There's kind of a reason behind that, which we're going to be going over a little bit too, as well as take a look at my collection and why I keep running into a whole lot of the same shinies over and over again and not the ones that I really want. So with that said, trainers, let's get into it. Alright, so before we get started on why I keep encountering the same specific shiny Pokemon and possibly same for you, but you cannot get the one that you really want no matter how many you tap on, JT Valor did break this down pretty good. Now this is a theory in which I completely agree with him because I personally was going to make a video on this topic, but after he did that I kind of just went away from that whole thing and let that video ride out and do its thing. So I will have a link in the description if you want to check it out. But basically what he talks about is you have a specific number and so do those other Pokemon you're tapping on. If you line up with that specific number, it will be a shiny. Therefore, you may just be getting that matchup every single time. And that's why you keep encountering that specific Pokemon. Like I said, his breakdown's a lot better. Now, before we review the actual rarest Pokemon here, let's go ahead and take a look at a lot of common shinies that I keep encountering here. So I do have them named at the top. With the plus in front of their name, we'll pull up their evolutions as well. And then just put a comma, and then you can continue on with all the other shinies. Now we have a few variables in here, which is going to be, did they have an event which they had increased shiny odds, increased spawns, or did I catch these in raids? Now the raid ones will be a bit rare, but they're not as rare as full odds, I'm pretty sure. So taking a look here, we do have the Psyduck as well as the Golduck. None of those were traded to me. I caught all of those in the wild. And then we have the Clefable right there, and that's going to be with the Clefas. I did evolve that all the way up from a Clefa, obviously, because that's the only way you can get those shiny. Then we have the Mankeys, which I continuously encounter. I did run into a few of those during the whole fighting event, and a few outside of the fighting event as well. And then the Geodudes, which I have actually traded one off, so I had 4 total here. And then the Shelders, I had about 5 of those and traded several off. For the Magikarp, I did trade one off the other day to Scarlet, in which she did give me a shiny Driftbloom, so I did have 6 of those total. I think that's one of the most full odd shinies that I've encountered. And then we have the Clefas, in which I actually hatched 2 of those shiny back-to-back, incredible, and then 2 on other separate occasions. Now for the Ho-Ohs, I did have about 6 of these, and I did trade those off to other trainers. Pretty good luck there, and I know they come from raids, so they're not going to be full odds. Still hard to catch, but I do believe that those raid shinies are a little bit increased when it comes down to encountering them. Poochyena, I have traded off about 3 of those, so I had about 5 total. Traded off a Meditite as well, so I did have about 5 of those as well. And the Medicham obviously was a shiny Meditite, which I evolved. And for the Shuppets, I did trade off about 3 of those, so that is a great... Actually, no, it's probably about 2. I traded off 2 of those. So I did encounter quite a bit of those. One of these bandits was traded to me, so I guess you can count one of those off. And then we have the Cresselia here, which I did encounter 7 total. And I did trade a lot of those off, as well as do mirror trades. So they're basically going to be dead in my profile because they're not going to be really worth powering up. And what I was trying to do is bring that CP low enough to make him in the Great League. And then finally we have Meltan down here. I know a lot of people were having trouble actually trying to find these. Personally for me, opening up the box 2 times on separate occasions, I was able to get 1 back-to-back, or should I say 2 back-to-back, and then I actually ran into a shiny during another opening, and then about 4 catches later I ran into another. So that is pretty incredible. Let's go ahead and look at the dates as a matter of fact so we can confirm that. So we have 2/26, 5/4, 2/12, 2/24. There's the 26 one, and then 9. So I guess I was wrong about the back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but the 2 encounters for the 1 box, but still, nonetheless, I did encounter quite a few of those. So there are my high shiny odds, I suppose, the ones that I click on and that number just clicks. We're going to go over all my other shinies. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the rarest shinies in Pokemon Go. Alright, now let's go ahead and take a look at this list here. We will be going over the Alolans, and there will be a couple shinies missing, such as the male Nidoran in this list, but we're going to be going over those separately. So at the very top, for 1%, we do have the shiny Pichu hat, which is extremely rare. And we're also going to be missing some of the other Pikachus, such as the Ash Hat Pikachu. I'm going to categorize that between the 2 to 5% possibly. And also now we have the Pikachu Party Hat, which it's not going to be as rare, but it is on this list. But anyways, moving on, we do have the Krabby, which is going to be in the 2 to 5%. The Alolan Marowak, Pichu with the Witch Hat, Alolan Raichu, Sandshrew, and then moving down to the 6 to 8%, we have Mischievous, Azurill, Ghastly, Badoo, and then the Pichu with the Santa Hat. And then moving down into the 9 to 15%, we have Absol, and then the female Nidoran. Now, I don't know exactly where the male Nidoran is going to land, seeing that the event did last longer than the Women's Day, in which the female Nidoran was introduced, in which you were able to actually find a shiny Nido Queen in the wild. That's right, it's the first time ever. So I think it's going to probably be around the B2 range, the 16 to 24 for that male Nidoran. Then we have for the 9 to 15% on to the next one, shiny Elekid, Pikachu with the Party Hat, Pikachu with the Witch Hat, and then for the 16 to 24%, Sunkern, Growlithe, which I still need and want very badly, Pikachu regular, Pikachu with the Santa Hat, Pikachu with the Style Hat, Shinx, Sableye, Mawile, Magnemite, Magby, Togepi, why not, Caterpie, Geodude, and then the regular Kanto Grimer. That Grimer, actually, I caught one during this last event. We'll be going over all that here in a little bit. All right, now moving into the uncommon section here, as you can see, quite a few Pokemon, right? So you do have a lot of the raid ones, the legendary birds, and like I said, there's going to be a few that are not included in here, but if you are able to get them during a raid day, such as Raikou, they're going to be probably classified in the uncommon section here, just like this, because we did have that Gengar. A lot of people did get those. Oh, and I forgot to include a lot of the shiny encounters that I do click on, and then which they're shiny, is going to be Aeron. Got a bunch of those, and I do trade those off quite frequently. Now, out of this whole uncommon list here, ones that I really need are going to be Houndour, Snorunt, let's see, what else? Kabuto, Drowsy. I did actually get one of those traded to me when I did get one of my Feebas. I did make that trade, but I have yet to encounter one of those myself personally. Delibird, which is going to be, pretty rare. We did have that very long event in which you were able to find those, but personally did not get one. And then moving down to the 39 to 48% here, I have encountered pretty much all of these except for the Articuno and the Murkrow. Yeah, the Murkrow has just been avoiding me like crazy. I don't know what's going on with it, but I still have not encountered one of those. And I still do not have a shiny Articuno, but I'm not really worried about that. And then moving on to the 49 to 60% here, I have encountered all of those, especially the Roserade. I've encountered tons of those, and I've evolved a lot of those and powered them up because actually there are good IVs in the sunny weather, as well as the Ponytas and the Cubones, which I don't think I included. That's another Pokemon I do get quite frequently, as well as the Feebas, believe it or not. I know that's a very hard one for people to get. And then moving down to the lowest of the low, it is going to be basically Community Day Pokemon. I actually have never encountered a shiny Swablu in the wild. Pretty wild stuff. Other than that, yep, those are going to be shinies pretty much everybody's going to have because, well, those community days. Okay, now as far as the Alolan Pokemon go, I didn't go over all of the ones that you need to hatch to actually get shiny, and that is going to be the Alolan Sandshrew, Vulpix, Meowth, as well as the Grimer. Those are all going to be pretty rare. The other ones you can find in either a raid regarding the Raichu and Alolan Marowak, as well as the Exeggutor when they do bring that back. As far as shiny checking in the wild, the Geodude, Diglett, and Rattata are probably going to be the most common out of this list here. All right, now when it comes down to Community Day Pokemon, we know we all have them, but here's the kicker. If you have things like the Community Day moves under 1500 CP, those are going to carry a significant amount of value to them because, well, they're shiny and they're great for the Great League. Some of them, Venusaur specifically, is going to be great. Now, when it comes down to a shiny, how is it going to perform compared to a non-shiny variant Pokemon? Well, here it is. You ready for it? Shiny Pokemon do nothing different except carry a different color. That is simple as that. Now, it's going to be a bit of bragging rights. Some people like to make full shiny teams, and it's just nice to have that different variant color. It's a trophy. But for the most part, well, not for the most part, all in all, shiny Pokemon do not do anything different, period. All right? It is just a bit of bragging rights, and they look pretty cool depending on the shiny variant. Now, I have a ton of things here, and we didn't go over a lot of newer Pokemon that are not incorporated onto that list, such as the Rattata, regular Rattata. Pidgey is going to be a pretty rare one. Yes, there are those tasks, but it is still going to be full odds, and it's still going to be hard to find. So if you do have a Pidgey or any evolution of it, that is actually going to be extremely rare too. Having the regular Rattata and or Raticate, I suppose, Rattata being probably a little bit more valuable, being not evolved, people are still going to need that. That one is going to carry a lot of value to it as well. Now, if I was to go through all of these Pokemon that I have shiny here, we'll be here for a long time. I actually had to redo this the end of the video because I went through talking about all of them, and the video was pushing 45 minutes. And I was like, you know what? No. I know you guys like to hear me talk sometimes, but we're going to skip all that. But anyways, the Community Day Pokemon, if I was going on about them saying that they're not going to be too valuable, they're actually going to be okay if they have the Community Day shiny and under 1500, right? Moving on here, things that you want to keep are going to be obviously your hundreds or the shinies with accessories, with the crown hats, with any sort of hat, the sunglasses squirrel here. Those are going to carry some sort of value to them because they're shiny and they have that accessory. So those are going to be a bit of trading value, I suppose. And then the Pikachu hat, Ash hat here, is pretty rare. I'm happy I have that one. The Nidorans are going to be fairly hard to find now, seeing that the event is now over. The only way is going to be full odds in the wild. Now, if you have an S, that's going to be great. If you have raids, which if they make them come back, I'm not too sure if they left or not. I think they did, but those are going to be another chance for you to possibly get those shinies. Other than that, we're looking pretty good here, folks, and I hope that kind of covered it for you. Now, if you still have questions on, okay, well, which shinies should I keep? Which ones should I be trading off? Well, the ones that we said, if they have accessories on them, those are going to be pretty good. And also things like the Krabbies, the Ghastlies, anything that has full odds and has not actually received an event, those are the shinies that people are going to want the most. The Community Day Pokemon are going to be very common. A lot of people are going to have those, like the Eevee. We did have a 2-day period and it lasted forever. So you will have people out there with a ton of shiny Eevees. That's going to say people are still going to be trying to find them. They're just not going to be as valuable as they would be without an event, right? And if we move down here, we have the Community Day Pokemon under 1500 with that Community Day move is going to be looking great. Anything hatching out of an egg that you can only obtain shiny like that is going to be extremely rare, like Cleffa here. This is going to be a rare one for sure. So people will want that. Don't undermine the value of it, that's for sure. C-Dot, I suppose it's not great. It can find some value. It really depends on the biome. It depends on the person's luck. They may be getting tons and tons of a specific shiny, but for the life of it, they cannot find another one. Even though they go to nests, they have the biome, but they still can't get that Pokemon shiny that they really want. It's going to be something to do with your account and, that number matchup. It's all about that number matchup. If you have that specific type of number and that Pokemon always lands on that for the shiny for you, you're going to be getting it quite often. That theory, it's not an actual fact, but at this point, I'm pretty convinced that that's how it's going to be working here. Like me, I've clicked on so many Murkrows, but I cannot find one personally myself. This has been traded to me. I just don't know what it is. I've been out here grinding. They're all over the place at night, but still I cannot find one. Same with the Houndour. Went to a nest and must have tapped on hundreds of them. If that was any other Pokemon, say if it was a regular Geodude or a Cubone or a Magikarp, I probably would have found like 5 of those shiny. Maybe. That's a little high of a number there. But I would have found a few. But I cannot get this one. It's just my number doesn't match up for that one. Possibly. And then going on here, you have the legendary shinies. Those are going to carry some value to them as well. But I urge you to possibly do a lucky friendship trade for those, so you can get that lucky. I mean, it's not going to cut the candy cost down. It's going to cut the Stardust down. Say the IVs were not great and you're trying to bring up the IVs for those, because for a lucky trade, the flat is going to be 12, 12, 12. Even though people, you want that 15 in attack. But I'm going to be real with you. It's going to make a difference, but I just go for it. If it's a lucky and shiny, you want to power it up. You're like, it doesn't have 15 attack. Should I do it? Yeah, I mean, just go for it. Have fun if you really wanted to. I'm not trying to tell you go power up all your like 10 or 12 IV attack shiny lucky Pokemon. You do what you want to do if you're just trying to add to your collection. And then you have the Slack Ops, the other random things in between here that received kind of research task days like Lotad, which carries some sort of value, but you also have to take into consideration, are they going to be good for raiding PvE? Are they going to be good for PvP? Those are the value there. There are Pokemon that are going to be great as a collection, but they're not going to be performing too good in PvE or PvP. So it really depends on the person. Really depends on what that person specifically is looking for, or what you are wanting to have in your collection yourself. Like Whalmers, some people want this really badly. Personally, for me, I don't want any more. I am done with them. They have no value in PvE or PvP. They're just existing as Thanos shinies. And some people just can't get one for the life of them. They tapped on so many and nothing, but they can get dozens of other shinies. I shouldn't say dozen, lots of other shinies, right? And then, of course, you have the most valuable shiny out of everything in the game, guys, and that's going to be Cast Form. That's a joke, obviously. That's a joke. It's not great. Its evolutions are good, but they have no shiny variants. Even, they just don't. They have those weather balls for their specific type, which perform great, though, but no shinies. Other than that, folks, that's pretty much going to be covering it. There's a lot more I can go over, but I don't want to keep going on, rambling on here about this shiny stuff. Just want to tell you my thoughts on which ones you should probably be holding on to. The full odds ones that have not received an actual community day or some sort of special event in which they're spawning all over the place, in which case a lot of people would already have that shiny. So things that hatch out of eggs are going to be pretty valuable. Shiny legendaries are going to have some value to them as well. I shouldn't say some. They're going to have great value, right? It's just there's a lot of people out here raiding and getting them as well. But as far as I'm concerned, the lesser of these Pokemon for the shinies that are going to be less desired are going to be the Community Day ones. Unless you have them under 1500 with that Community Day move, then they're going to be carrying a lot more value to them because they're actually going to be good for PvP. Alright, trainers, so with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If I missed something, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll probably try to make some sort of follow-up video in the future. But for now, just stay on the grind. If you find it that it's just extremely, you're done at this point trying to find a specific shiny, and you're like, my shiny luck sucks. It's just the way it is, guys. You just have to keep going, keep grinding, and keep it up. I know for some people it's easier to find some, and for others, it's a lot harder. If not, it just almost seems impossible. So with that said, thank you for watching, trainers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And remember, keep shiny checking. And I'll catch you all next time.